Clara Belle had never meant to end up on the Miller Ranch. She was just passing through Wyoming territory, trying to outrun a past that clung to her like dust on her boots, a violent saloon owner, a broken promise, and a life that never felt like hers. But when her stagecoach wheel snapped on an empty stretch of prairie, she found herself stranded under a sky burning orange with sunset. That's when she first saw him, leaning against a chestnut mare, hat low, eyes sharp as the Rockies. Luke Miller. Rancher. War veteran. A man who spoke little but noticed everything. "You look like somebody who needs a ride," he said. Clara refused at first. She didn't trust men with silent eyes. But the night wind grew colder, and the wolves began to howl from the hills. She finally accepted. She'd ridden horses before, but never like this. Luke rode hard, cutting through the open plains with a confidence she'd never seen. Her hands gripped his waist, her face pressed against his back as the horse thundered beneath them. His body was warm, steady, unshakable. For the first time in months, she felt safe. When they reached his ranch, Luke offered her a place to stay until the next coach came through. Clara expected him to want something in return, every man always had. But Luke only said, "Work if you want, rest if you need. No one here takes what ain't theirs." That night, Clara sat on the porch, watching the stars. She didn't know it yet. But she had just stepped into the only home she would ever truly belong to. The proposal no one saw coming. Days turned into weeks. Clara learned to mend fences, drive cattle, and calm the wild horses no other hand dared touch. The ranch hands watched in amazement, the slip of a woman, quieter than a shadow, fiercer than a storm. But no one watched her the way Luke did. He saw how she winced at sudden noises. How she hid her wrists under long sleeves. How she froze when men argued. And slowly, he became the one person she opened up to. One evening, as the sun bled red across the plains, Luke asked her to saddle up. They rode to the highest ridge overlooking miles of untouched land. The wind whipped through her hair as the horses climbed higher. "Clara," Luke said finally, "there's something you ought to know." Her heart pounded. "I've never ridden like this with anyone," he admitted. You make the world feel wider. You make me want a life I didn't think men like me get." Clara's throat tightened. "Luke, I ain't a woman with a clean past. I don't want your past," he said gently. "I want your future." Then he reached into his vest and pulled out a small leather pouch. Inside was a simple silver ring, not fancy, but forged by his own hands. "I ain't asking you to be perfect," he said. "I'm asking you to be my wife." Tears blurred Clara's vision. For years, she'd been ridden by fate, by fear, by men who treated her like property. But for once, she was choosing her own trail. "Yes," she whispered. "I reckon I'd like that very much." As Luke lifted her onto his horse and they rode home under the rising moon, Clara realized the truth. She had never ridden like this, because she had never been loved like this.